Alright, welcome back to the channel, folks. I am just now leaving the Grand Theater in, where in the world am I? I'm in Mississippi. I'm not in Biloxi. I'm at a movie theater I've never been to before. D'Iberville, Mississippi, yeah, and I've just come out of seeing Fall Guy. This is one of the last showings that are going to be for the movie, and I'm really wishing that I had managed to bring my mother and my sister to see this, because I think they would have gotten a kick out of this movie. It hasn't gotten a whole lot of love, but I enjoyed the flick. I enjoyed it immensely. I'm on my birthday outing here. Had to go get my DOT physical done today, and I'm pretty much a loner here trying to treat myself. So that's what I did. A couple movies I watched. Furiosa, a Mad Max story, without the Mad Max, of course, but I'm going to have a separate video talking about that. But I'm going to keep myself entertained on the drive home by talking all about this movie just for a few minutes. I saw Furiosa, I saw Fall Guy. I was going to go ahead and see Godzilla x Kong before it's gone from the theater, but I'm chickening out here. It's going to be probably 10:30 before I make it back to my home. So, yeah, it'll be 1 o'clock in the morning if I stayed. So I think I'll just go ahead and watch that one online sometime within the next, well, probably as soon as possible, so I can go ahead and put up 3 videos on this new channel I just started on Rumble. So yeah, chickening out, and plus, that last MonsterVerse movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, I wasn't completely satisfied with this stuff. So I've been in kind of a battle with myself, debating what do I want to do? Do I want to watch it or do I not? You know, because I hate to spend money on something that I know is going to be subpar. Or at least I strongly suspect it's going to be subpar, because the last one was subpar. These MonsterVerse movies, for me, you know what? I'm going to save all that for the actual review. Unfortunately, I'm starting to ramble here, but anyway, this has been my movie outing today. 2 movies. I'm an old man. I had 40 years old today. I didn't start off fresh. I had to go see my cardiologist, and then I had to go see the DOT once I was cleared by my cardiologist to go ahead and go get the DOT physical. But that's all done, and I get to drive the big truck for 1 more year, so I get to stay employed. All right, now you know the backstory of the day. Let's get into the Fall Guy. This was a cute little movie. I enjoyed it, and something about it, and this is another reason that I think my mother in particular would have liked seeing this. It reminds me of The Man Who Knew Too Little, not in terms of the character being completely at a loss as to what's going on, and he's just bumbling into a situation by sheer chance. Things are carrying him, even though there's a little bit of that. No, it is an actual unfolding, a little, not really a detective story, but you see things coming on time. You can probably guess some of the things that happen and get to the punch quicker. I'm not like that a lot of the times, though. A lot of times people say, oh man, I saw that coming from a million miles away. Oh, who couldn't have guessed that? A lot of times it's me, because of my relationship with movies. I go in, I guess I should say, I go in fresher than a lot of people. That's just the impression that I get from the way other people talk about movies. I don't know what's going to happen. Not for sure. You might suspect some things sometimes, but I think maybe sometimes, now that I think about it, people just, they want to sound really smart or something, or I don't know. Anyways, like, who couldn't have guessed what would happen next, or who was the killer, or blah blah blah. I enjoyed Ryan Gosling in this, Emily Blunt, I think that's her name, and is it Aaron Taylor Johnson? Yeah, he played kind of a funny, quirky guy, even though he was in the movie very little overall. It's mainly Ryan Gosling, and there are a couple of movies of him that this movie's really wanting me to go see. There's a movie he's in called Drive. I've heard high praise of that movie from somebody whose judgment in movies I trust somewhat online. I want to see that one. I've never seen it. I got to see Drive, and also I think I'd like to give that movie that he was in with Russell Crowe. I never saw it, and of course Blade Runner, the sequel. That's 3 Ryan Gosling movies I got to go see as soon as I can. I got a whole list of movies that I'm making that I've never seen before, old movies and new movies, and it's only getting longer the more I have to work and not enjoy a good flick every now and then. Anyways, I liked that. Well, I didn't see this coming from the trailer. Just going off the trailer for The Fall Guy that I saw in the movie theater, I guess a couple months back. I don't know when it was, or what movie I was there watching when I saw the trailer. But it goes in. He's lovesick for Emily Blunt's character right off the bat. You can see from the trailer that it's going to be some little, how do you say it? Some old flame rekindled kind of a thing. You get that impression from the trailer. But as I watched the movie, I realized, oh, he had a thing for her all along. It's not just something that by chance, a chance meeting. He saw his chance as the movie gets started and really gets going to reunite with her as maybe destiny, I think. And some of the back and forth quirkiness of the love story part of it, like when she, as the first-time director of this film, is having him, the stuntman, replay these stunts over and over again, and his body's just getting brutalized, and he's giving a thumbs up every time, like, I'm okay, let's go again. As she's talking about the she's making like she's talking about the characters in the sci-fi Cowboys versus Aliens, whatever it is, movie that she's making, but it's actually their past relationship, and she's communicating through the dialogue in the script to him, and everybody on set can see it. Maybe that was a little bit long in the tooth, maybe they went too long with that, but that's kind of par for the course for this whole movie. Maybe it is just a little bit too long for what was accomplished overall. I guess that'd be my one gripe. Maybe they could have shaved a good 10 minutes or so, but it is what it is. It's still a pretty good movie in my opinion. And I recognize the guy who was the stunt coordinator as, I don't know the man's name, but he's the guy in Wakanda, right? He was in Black Panther, and he is the, not really the enemy tribe, but like I didn't see the sequel to that, but I think he had a gorilla or something on his chest. Anyway, that's what he's from, that I've seen. And he was good in this. Aaron Taylor Johnson was good. The lady who was Gail, she's quite animated. She's quite the... I could just see her like in a real life, who knows how many times, a similar story, a real life story, actual events in movie makers' lives throughout these decades since motion picture cinema has been a thing, has actually happened. And when these people in real life get so detached from regular people, so detached from anything that's not their make-believe world, which we all, if we enjoy movies, we enjoy a lot of the creations that they make, but sometimes you just got to feel for people who do go adrift, and they don't really, they're not really connected to other people anymore. And the whole story of how the big shot, the movie star actor, accidentally ended somebody, and then they try and cover it up. That's actually happened quite a few times in the past few decades. But just starting from the beginning, when I first saw the trailer, I just couldn't help but think, you know what, I want to see that. I want to give that movie a try, The Fall Guy, because for one, they are doing a tribute to like the unsung movie maker hero, the stuntman. They got the Lee Major song is the Fall Guy theme song, and they're the unknown stuntman at the end. But the song that's really stuck in my head is the Youngblood song. I was made for loving you, baby. This is gonna be I'm gonna end up dreaming about this music tonight because it's nighttime as I end up watching the movie and driving home. It's been a fun day. It's been a fun day at the movies, and I've been trying to see as many movies as I think are worthwhile, that aren't too trashy, that aren't too woke, that aren't too unworthy of your dollars, quite frankly. And I'm actually kind of encouraged. I'm looking forward to seeing A Quiet Place Part 3 in a few days. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up watching Godzilla v. Kong at home and trying to give a good little thoughtful review of that if I possibly can in the next week or so. And my heart aches that I didn't get to see certain movies at the theater over the past little while. I wish I had seen the movie with Anthony Hopkins some time ago, The Father. I still haven't seen that. Recently, there were these movies that they were low budget, and they didn't have a lot of promotional push behind them. I forget what the name of the movie is, but you probably saw the trailer for it. It was this Asian man. The film follows him as he's doing his job as a caretaker, janitor, visiting people. I guess he's a single man, and it just follows him and how he takes pride in just his daily life, his daily activity. I wish I knew the name of that movie. I'll try and figure out what it is and put it in the description of this video. And also there was a film called Sight. As soon as I found it, it was gone from the theater. It was like only going to be showing 1 week at the theater in Mobile, Alabama, where I usually go, the AMC. And but just for anybody who lives in this area, by the way, if you live in South Mississippi or South Alabama, give the Grand a try. I had never been to this place in D'Iberville until today, D'Iberville, Mississippi, and boy, it's a neat little place. They actually have a box office, which is nice. I love seeing the box office. AMC, they sell you the tickets at the same place, at the concession stand where you buy your Coke and your popcorn and your pretzel and who knows what else. Anyway, back to the Fall Guy. It's a narrated thing, and that added to the charm of it. Is Ryan Gosling speaking over the thing at the beginning and at the end, and he thinks that Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is his friend, and unfortunately he finds out that he's not. I don't want to give too much away as far as what actually happens there, but I'll just say this. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know who was behind this series of unfortunate accidents that ends up with the Fall Guy, Ryan Gosling, being framed for a terrible crime. But the way the movie goes, it's got this quirkiness to it, and that's what brings me back to The Man Who Knew Too Little with Bill Murray, and I do love that movie. Why I say that is the way the movie follows him. And it's not some big grand story of, actually in a way it's even more down to earth, quiet, and not affecting a whole lot of people, more so than The Man Who Knew Too Little was with Bill Murray, because in that movie, if you've ever seen that before, there was an actual bomb that was going to go off, and hopefully the bad guys were going to start a war between Britain and Russia. So there is that. So I guess the Fall Guy, it's even more of a down-to-earth little story of just pride, and you don't really know who's your friends, and love interests and crushes, and what's life about. Don't let the moment pass if you really care about somebody. It's a neat little story. It's a neat little movie. I think it's a good tribute myself, but what do I know about stuntmen? I don't know anything about stuntmen, except I hope they're well taken care of when they get hurt, because my goodness, just watching Ryan Gosling in this movie, this is meant to be like a fun take on it, but you can watch other movies, I'm sure, that maybe a studio like A24 or something like that will tell you the horror, the gritty suspense version of a tribute to the stuntmen. Just how brutal it all is, having to learn how to walk again after being hit by a car and all the rest of it. It's something else. because Ryan Gosling goes through a cartoonish amount of punishment in this movie, just at the hands of Emily Blunt, trying to get him to do that one stunt over and over again, being slapped up against the wall like a pancake or a piece of bologna or something. Are they shutting down I-10 ahead of me? Or is it just a police officer pulling somebody over? There's something going on up ahead of me. Anyways, I'm going to keep talking about the movie. It's fun. It's funny, at least to me. A lot of people might not have thought it was, I don't know how you say, not intense enough, not action-packed enough. Maybe it could have been written better. I don't know what people are thinking. Then again, maybe I'm totally wrong, and I just listened to the wrong opinion people when they said it was good, but not that good. It was supposed to make more money or whatever. I mean, it's been allowed to be at the theaters near me for quite a little while. I just haven't been able to see it because of my job. What else can I say? I want to keep talking about this movie, but that means I gotta remember each part. Ryan Gosling's character is funny. Emily Blunt is good. The 2 or 3 characters who are not in on the conspiracy, and they're actually their friends, are good. And of course the dog, Jean-Claude, and he's good with his understanding French that Ryan Gosling speaks. You know what? I've hit my brick wall again. So I'm going to stop this and maybe pick it up with some more thoughts whenever I get home. Till then. Okay, I'm back home, and so now we'll finish up this little review at home a little more comfortable. Let me get over to the IMDb for The Fall Guy. This is going to be a lot of fun. This movie was a lot of fun. Where was I? I was just listening to the audio I made as I was driving home. Horrible audio. Let me go talk about that music. The music that was stuck in my head as I left. It was I want to get the name of the band right. I thought it was an old song, like an oldie but a goodie. But Youngbloods. But it's actually something new. I really like it, and can't play it here. Obviously, who knows what might happen to the channel if I start playing this music. But yeah, I really liked it. But there also was another song. I think it was by. I don't want to say. I don't want to say the name, but I will give myself credit if I give. If I get it right, who I'm thinking of. I'm on Google right now. The Fall Guy song. It's by classic TV theme. Unknown stuntman. Blake Shelton did, I guess, was in the. That's not who I was thinking of when I originally Googled this a couple nights ago. I thought it was Lee Majors. That's probably totally wrong. Anyway, let me pick up where I left off talking about this movie. And you know what I'll do? Instead of showing my mug, I'm going to show something from the you know what? Let me here. This is a big enough image, I guess, for showing. What is this? Use Central Media. I guess it's an article about. You know what? This will be fun. I'm going to read a little bit of this article that I just found and see what I think of it as compared to the actual movie that I saw. I guess this is it. Yes, let's do this. Okay, let's read some of this. Who is this written by? Britton Summers. This is, again, U Central Media. Meta humor tends to be hit and miss. When it's done well, like in films such as Tropic Thunder, Hot Fuzz, or Deadpool, it can truly be exceptional. But when it's done badly, it just comes off as trying too hard rather than a vessel to convey the story. That means a story in any of its forms should have its aspects for a reason. Everything in a story should amount to the whole of its parts. Meta humor isn't a bad thing. It only depends on how it's used in context of the story that's being told. The Fall Guy is what would be called an old-fashioned popcorn movie, quote unquote, where people can still sit down, relax, and have a good time without thinking too hard. Amen. That's what I did with this movie, and I had a good time with it. The concept of this film is pretty cool. A stunt guy who gets in way over his head in a massive conspiracy, like the 80s film FX Man. One could have done a lot with this concept if it were explored properly. Instead, we got instead what we got was an adequate though predictable action flick. There's witty one-liners, action choreography, and sap aplenty in this film, though more seasoned film fans will likely want to watch better films after seeing it. You see, therein, I guess, is a reasonable enough critique right there. The way they said that, who this writer clearly isn't giving this film a thumbs up, even though I do. I admit I'm going to give it a thumbs up. It says there's sap aplenty. It depends on which aspect one or more of the aspects that this writer's talking about is going to receive a little bit more emphasis, I think. And in the case of the Fall Guy, it was on the a little bit of the love aspect, the romance of uh, trying to think of who it is. I got a name on my uh, tongue, but I don't want to say it and get it wrong. Colt Seavers, Ryan Gosling's character. That's what received a little bit more emphasis in this, if you ask me. And so I think that's what this person means by sap aplenty. Let's go ahead and read the last couple of paragraphs. This is actually kind of short. There are things to be commended in this film for certain. The action choreography and editing is consistently strong. Ryan Gosling is charismatic and likable in his role as the titular Fall Guy, and his chemistry with Emma Blunt is strong as well. Winston Duke also proves to be good as Gosling's best friend, and Aaron Taylor Johnson steals the show as shallow actor Tom Ryder. The film moves at a brisk pace, and some of the humor can be charming, even if it won't knock your socks off. But there is the inescapable feeling that we've seen this film before. There are better films that have been made about the movie making process, and there have been better films made parodying the action film genre. David Leitch is a talented guy, as his work on the first John Wick and Atomic Blonde have proven. But The Fall Guy is a film where it seems like he cut back and had fun. But if there was a little more meat to this film, it would have been more enjoyable. The Fall Guy is fun, but nothing that you haven't seen before. I wish I had read this before I do this stuff spur of the moment when I make a review. It's just the way I do most of it. Sometimes I do script things a little bit better beforehand. At least I did on the old channel before YouTube nuked it. But I tell you what, I would really like to. You know what? I'm not going to bother. Part of me wants to say, let me try and prove this last sentence or two wrong here. But if there's a little more meat to this film, it would have been more enjoyable. To me, they actually could have cut out a few minutes. I know he's talking about meat and not length of the film, but it would have been more enjoyable to me if they had cut out just a few minutes, because some things seemed like they got a little bit long, and it was like this person said, the editing was strong throughout, but there was something that kind of nagged at me about the whole part where they're going to have karaoke and Ryan Gosling's character can't meet up with her because of what's overtaken him in the moment, and finding out that dog Jean Claude and the lady, what's her name? Let me see if I can find the whole cast here. Alma Milan, played by Stephanie Sue. Yeah, that whole thing. I Some of the stuff, it's so meta, it's so kind of quirky. The dialogue was going so briskly, I didn't catch some of it. So I guess that's a knock against the film. But it didn't really make it less enjoyable, especially in the movie theater for me. I really like this thing. I wish things had worked out better so that I could have taken my mother and my sister to see it, because they definitely would have uh, gotten a kick out of this, even though I know they wouldn't have wanted to watch Furiosa, a Mad Max story with me, so it wouldn't have worked out. It had to be a different day, but I went ahead and saw these two movies for my birthday. I like the love story aspect of this probably more than the following what life is like for a stunt man. I think I said in that what thoughts I managed to get out on the ride home. There's got to be some movies out there where they're following, like documenting the real life events of a stunt man uh, or an actor who had to play certain serious roles where things got a little bit gritty and well, it would just be a different kind of movie. This is like what is this? This is an action comedy. I guess I don't even know what genre this is, but I like the way this writer starts out saying meta humor. He compares it to Tropic Thunder, Hot Fuzz, or Deadpool. I haven't seen Hot Fuzz or Deadpool. I wouldn't put this movie in the same category as Tropic Thunder. It just maybe it's the over the topness of some of the shenanigans and the crude commentary in that movie, a little bit of vulgarity. I much prefer a film like Fall Guy. I like it. Actually like it better. Don't get me wrong. I take what I well, I can take the best parts from all these movies, but I just this was it was just decent to me, and maybe that's something that is like overruling the things, the objections that I would maybe want to have if I were coming at it from a more critical eye, like this writer is. This is a very succinct little piece here. Again, this is ucentralmedia.com that I'm reading this from. That I just read this little thing from by Britton Summers from May 7. Man, this movie's been out for almost 2 months. That's crazy. Actually, I like it. I like it that movies are staying out longer. Godzilla versus Kong is still out. Still haven't seen that. I got to see that before I really want to see Godzilla versus Kong before I hopefully see um, A Quiet Place Part 3 at the movie theater. I really want to catch A Quiet Place Part 3 first weekend out in the movie theater with a bunch of other people. This just become a thing with me. I want to make sure I get that done. Maybe it'll happen this weekend if I get home, Lord willing. Anyways, let me go to the actual IMDb, and what I like to do is look at the cast and bring out a few things by just looking at the cast. Let me share this screen properly with you, and so you can see what I'm looking at here, the IMDb page for The Fall Guy. All right, here we go. Ryan Gosling. This guy who was just in the Barbie movie, and I'm not going to watch that on principle. I'm just not. But I think they said like he stole the show a lot of the time, and he's Ken. I haven't seen him in very many movies, and he's in some movies that I just don't care to see. I think he was in a movie about the moon landing. I saw the trailer and I just thought, man, that would be compelling. No, there were things in it that in the trailer itself that just turned me off, and it's like they were something about that trailer just bothered me. Let me click on Ryan Gosling, see all the movies that he's been in. Get off of their screen. I know he's been around for quite a while. See all. I remember him first from Remember the Titans. I don't really remember that movie. I'm not sure if I actually sat down and watched the whole thing or not. But I remember that was one of his first big ones. Remember the Titans. He was in Young Hercules TV show and other stuff before that. But I remember him being a part of that movie, Remember the Titans. There it is, 2000. Here we are, 2024, and he's. Let me look at the ones that I have seen that The Notebook. That's all that really springs to mind. And there it is, The Notebook. And when the writer of this article I just read said sappy, I remember a lot of people saying The Notebook was sappy. Drive. That's one that I want to see. I got to see that. The Big Short. I got to add that to the list too. The Nice Guys. That's got to happen. Blade Runner. That's First Man. He's Neil Armstrong, and I just maybe if I click on it, maybe it'll tell me something about the Gray Man. What's that? I don't even know what that is. Chris Evans is in it too, huh? Billy Bob Thornton in another space traveling movie. Okay. When he starts narrating it, and the way he narrated it he was bringing his character out right away, as far as this is my life. I really got it going on, and and right away it starts with his fawning over Emily Blunt's character, Jody Moreno, and now he feels like the luckiest man in the world and stuff. And it's neat because in that it's one long sequence where he's saying all this stuff, and then you also see right away Aaron Taylor Johnson's character Tom Ryder is a bit of a pill. He's the movie star, whereas Colt is the his stunt devil that he is a little bit of poo poo and talks down to him a little bit. And really, I just noticed this guy's name, Matusi, as Doon, Doon. Is he? He was in both the movies that I saw. He was in Furiosa, and I didn't realize it. He in this movie. Okay, I realize who he was now. He's the guy who drugs him in the club and makes him see unicorns. There he is, Matus. I might be pronouncing his name wrong. As Doon. Okay, so that's the guy. And he chased him outside. He says, "How long does this last? How long does this last? Okay, how long are you gonna? As soon as you stop seeing unicorns, it's over. It's over." That whole scene when he starts, when he's going to try and track down his who he thought was his friend, his movie star friend, Aaron Taylor Johnson. When that whole thing started up with the fighting and stuff, I thought this is a hallucination. He's imagining this in his head. He's wishing all this stuff would happen. No, it's actually happening. He's actually drugged up and become an MMA fighter right there on the spot, and he's face planting all these guys and knocking them all around. And the guy runs out, and then he chases him down the block. But I don't want to say the whole movie. I just want to say that I enjoyed it thoroughly, and it's a kind of bittersweet thing because I can't say it enough. You probably think I'm a weirdo, but I wish this was one that I could have seen with my family. This is one that I know they would have enjoyed. If I can get them to the movies to enjoy a movie that I know they would like it. I want to do that for a particular reason. I have unfortunately I enjoy going with other people, but sometimes, I'd rather not go by myself. But that was my birthday, and I was off alone, having done my physical and stuff. And instead of coming home, I went, you know how it is. I've drugged my mom, my sister to see a couple of real stinkers, 2 or 3, in fact, over the past 2 years, and 2 or 3 years. And I would just really like to try and make up for that with some good movies. And I think The Fall Guy would have been one of those. Let me go back to the page. Emily Blunt was good in this. She was herself. She wasn't a pill. And this is me sugarcoating things. I don't want to say bad words. I don't say bad words. I'm trying to think. She wasn't a strag. She wasn't she wasn't vindictive about him. Well, not in a mean or cruel way. She was coming at, why did you just disappear on me after you hurt yourself? It left her in the air trying to figure out who she is and what she wants, and were they really an item or not romantically? Was it going to be a serious relationship? Were they meant to be, and all that? And that makes me realize that I forgot what I was saying a second ago. That whole first sequence of him starting to narrate the movie, it's all one thing right up until it's like a 5-minute long thing as it morphs into the very scene where he gets injured. That was well done. So again, props to the editing, and this writer in here actually said the editing is is some good stuff. How could this movie have had some more meat on it? Like this writer says it needs. I don't know if I don't know that it could have gone in another direction without it detracting away from the kind of sappy love story part of it, where they end up as they're together in the end, and it's a really happy ending. Uh, I don't know what else could have done. And again, I know I'm biased here because I enjoyed the film so much that it's kind of blinding me, perhaps, to some things. But yeah, there you have it. And there's Winston Duke as Dan Tucker. I believe he was the head of stunts and stuff on there. This is the first movie I've seen him in outside of Marvel related movies, Wakanda, Black Panther. That that whole thing at the end, the way they got him to uh, confess what he had done. Well, you know what? I'll say this. Maybe a little bit more meat on the bone would have just been slightly less meta, because they were kind of Deadpoolish. And again, I haven't even seen Deadpool. I'm not really into Deadpool, but I understand what they mean about the whole breaking the fourth wall, and they're talking to the audience, that kind of thing. The stream of logic that they have, like, oh, of course, this is what we'll do. We'll get him to confess it by making him uh, film his own stunt. Maybe if they slowed some of that stuff down and did that slightly better, they could have fit in some more meatier parts. Maybe this writer for ucentralmedia.com would have been satisfied that way. I don't know. All I know is I've been recording for 20 minutes. I really need to bring this to a close. But I'm looking at these different people and wondering, is there anything more I can say? Uh, Let me say that Hannah Waddingham as Gail Meyer, she really did her kind of like neurotic, manic, big smile over emphasizing certain emotions. She played this part well, the part of a, I'm not going to say soulless, but yeah, maybe soulless sociopathic type. Oh, I'm your friend and we've been together forever, and oh, this is going to be a great flick. This is going to be your big success, and it's going to be your first her first directorial debut is going to be just a smash hit, and it's going to be wonderful, darling. It's a it it was good stuff. It really was. Who is Iggy Star as Teresa Palmer? Who is that? Is she, what was she? Uh Trying to remember what she was in this. Was she? She's not the one who attacked him in the apartment with a samurai sword, was she? I don't know. I don't know. Ben Knight, Dresler. Is that the redheaded guy? Who? Yeah, who was after him, beating him up the whole movie. The helicopter thing at the end was a bit over the top. It was a bit much. I'm like, how are you making this helicopter stand still? I mean, just hover in space while she's shooting at you with the 357 Magnum or some such thing. But he's trying to get the video recording. There's something about that sequence of the movie, I admit, that's a little bit too much like maybe Rat Race or something like that, where it just it got a little bit too cartoonish right there, I guess. But I want to recommend this movie to you if you skipped it and you just want to give it a try. It's a neat little flick. It's it's humorous. It's kind of a heartwarming thing at times. I'm sorry it wasn't the big summer blockbuster that they wanted it to be for the money they put into it and stuff, and the some of the big names they got in here. Ken of Barbie, you know, and Emily Blunt of A Quiet Place fame and other movies too. Hey, is she gonna be in? Are they making a The Edge of Tomorrow 2? Is that really gonna happen? Is she gonna be in it? I don't know if she's gonna be in it or not, but hopefully. Really liked her in Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise. Anyway, I want to keep talking about this movie just because I really enjoyed it and all of the manic meta humor and all that stuff, and it's kind of cutesy poo and just really enjoyable. I really like seeing this in the movie theater because I don't really stop with my lifestyle, trucking all the time and getting as much done as I can on the weekends. I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't just stop and enjoy and appreciate them. So I'm glad I caught this at the movies. I really am. And I'll end it with that. Thank you so much, folks, for listening to me, especially if you listened to me this whole time. I'll call it quits here and say we'll see you in the next video. Take care.